Are you sleeping restlessly, feeling irritable or moody, forgetting little things, and feeling overwhelmed and isolated? Don't worry, we've all been there. You're probably just stressed out. Stress isn't always a bad thing. It can be handy for a burst of extra energy and focus, like when you're playing a competitive sport or have to speak in public. But when it's continuous, the kind most of us face day in and day out, it actually begins to change your brain. Chronic stress, like being overworked or having arguments at home, can affect brain size, its structure, and how it functions, right down to the level of your genes. Stress begins with something called the hypothalamus-pituitary-adrenal axis, a series of interactions between endocrine glands in the brain and on the kidney, which controls your body's reaction to stress. When your brain detects a stressful situation, your HPA axis is instantly activated and releases a hormone called cortisol, which primes your body for instant action. But high levels of cortisol over long periods of time wreak havoc on your brain. For example, chronic stress increases the activity level and number of neural connections in the amygdala, your brain's fear center. And as levels of cortisol rise, electric signals in your hippocampus, the part of the brain associated with learning, memories, and stress control, deteriorate. The hippocampus also inhibits the activity of the HPA axis, so when it weakens, so does your ability to control your stress. That's not all though. Cortisol can literally cause your brain to shrink in size. Too much of it results in the loss of synaptic connections between neurons and the shrinking of your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that regulates behaviors like concentration, decision-making, judgment, and social interaction. It also leads to fewer new brain cells being made in the hippocampus. This means chronic stress might make it harder for you to learn and remember things, and also set the stage for more serious mental problems like depression and eventually Alzheimer's disease. The effects of stress may filter right down to your brain's DNA. An experiment showed that the amount of nurturing a mother rat provides its newborn baby plays a part in determining how that baby responds to stress later in life. The pups of nurturing moms turned out less sensitive to stress because their brains developed more cortisol receptors, which stick to cortisol and dampen the stress response. The pups of negligent moms had the opposite outcome, and so became more sensitive to stress throughout life. These are considered epigenetic changes, meaning that they affect which genes are expressed without directly changing the genetic code. And these changes can be reversed if the moms are swapped. But there's a surprising result. The epigenetic changes caused by one single mother rat were passed down to many generations of rats after her. In other words, the results of these actions were inheritable. It's not all bad news though. There are many ways to reverse what cortisol does to your stressed brain. The most powerful weapons are exercise and meditation, which involves breathing deeply and being aware and focused on your surroundings. Both of these activities decrease your stress and increase the size of the hippocampus, thereby improving your memory. So don't feel defeated by the pressures of daily life. Get in control of your stress before it takes control of you.
大家好，我叫做錦婷。其實我喺南非裏邊有一個宣教嘅事奉。咁今次翻嚟3個月嘅述職咧，好特別咧，就係認識咗腦脊治療嘅Dr. C。喺3個月嗰個嘅學習裏邊咧，我覺得最特別俾我嘅領受咧，有一句説話。成日都講嘅助人自助，又或者係講到咧咩病都醫唔到，但係咧原來上帝俾我哋每一個人咧都有一個內在神醫。呢個內在嘅神醫咧，其實係我哋有一種嘅治癒嘅能力嘅，但唔係靠外來嘅方式、工具或者係藥物。 咁當然我哋唔係去抗拒佢啦，但係我哋可以透過神喺我哋生命之中裏邊有一種嘅能量咧，係可以係得到痊愈嘅。咁特別我今日咧就帶住好多傷患過嚟，咁因為禮拜一要走啦，多德斯咧就要同我做大修。咁我有咩傷患咧？我已經有成2個禮拜嘅咳嗽啦，咁再加上咧我就係呢幾個禮拜裏邊有好多個疲勞，仲挫傷埋我條頸背肌同埋啲手。咁所以咧，當多德斯幫我做呢個嘅治療嘅時候咧，有一啲嘅好特別嘅感覺，我真係完全放鬆嘅。咁喺我個腳裏邊咧，我感受到好凍。但係當多德斯做到我喺心鎖個部分嘅時候咧，我就發覺有一種暖氣去到我腳嗰度。咁因為我咳咗好耐，咁當做一個嘅後位嘅時候咧，我又覺得我呼吸唔到嘅，好似好多嘢壓住我嘅。咁但係過咗一陣間嘅時候咧，我又覺得鬆咗喎，尤其是一種感受到一種暖嘅感覺。咁到最後差唔多完嘅時候咧，我知道多德斯喺度同我做頸做頭嘅時候咧，我感受到咧我個筋膜，我好似隻右手我最傷嘅位置裏邊係好似有一隻手喺度托住我，喺度幫我喺度擰緊一啲嘅地方，咁係好溫柔嘅。咁所以咧喺我完全放鬆個裏邊嘅時候咧，其實我心裏邊一路做一路喺度唱緊詩歌，咁但係我又知道自己好似又瞓着咗咁樣。呢一種治療咧帶俾我一種好特別嘅一種嘅喜樂同埋好平安。咁特別我喺今次呢3個月裏邊咧，我睇到其實呢個顱脊治療喺人嘅生活裏邊咧，其實係時時都可以去幫助嘅。特別係喺情緒啦，特別係喺好多嘅傷患、憂傷裏邊啦，或者我哋以前嘅傷痛裏邊啦，咁可能我哋以前會用好多種嘅輔導，或者好多種嘅方法去撩人哋嘅傷痛出嚟，但係撩咗你未必可以幫到佢，或者我哋唔敢去鬥嗰啲傷痛嘅地方，因為佢挖咗出嚟，你係咪可以令到佢 recover 咧？可以得到幫助咧？但係透過呢個嘅學習嘅裏邊，我發覺就係原來咧，神喺度用緊每一對手，呢一對手係一種嘅愛嘅觸摸，嚟到去讓到一個神嘅兒女或者係嚟到嘅朋友，佢可以得到幫助，去得到佢自己可以去處理嘅問題。天父喺每一個人嘅生命裏邊咧，所賜予嘅咧就係我哋有生命力嘅，而且唔好喺憂傷裏邊嘅時候咧，唔識起身，因為呢一種係一種我哋成日都講噶啦 ，reorganize、reborn 係一種可以重新嘅生命力嚟嘅。又喺呢個課程裏邊，我特別去感受到就係以前對能量呢樣嘢咧。有陣時會係有啲嘅矛盾或者係避之則吉，但係我哋又覺得能量確實係存在嘅，而且係上帝俾我哋人類或者係呢個宇宙或者呢個地球上邊嘅生物咧，係一種嘅傳遞嚟嘅。當然我哋希望傳遞係正能量，就唔係負能量啦。我盼望喺呢個學習嘅過程裏邊，先喺自己嘅生命上邊，喺呢一種嘅學習上邊。多正能量，以至到呢一種嘅正能量，我透過喺呢個治療嘅過程裏邊咧，可以幫助或者係成為係弟兄姊妹一種嘅祝福。
In all biological organisms, there's something referred to as the biological imperative. The biological imperative can't be found by biologists. There's no place they say, oh, here it is in the cell. But what it represents is the drive to survive. When we start to feel that our life is threatened, It's not a conscious at first, it's a gut feeling, it's visceral. Something in my gut says something's not right. This is the biological imperative looking at your potential future in the world that you're living in. And what we really have to recognize is that people are feeling it in their gut. The world is not right, it's not right. And I go, well, this is wonderful because this is a feedback system that's saying the world in which you live is not in harmony with you. And therefore, what it really means is that we have to change how we influence the world in our own way. And it says that if we start to change and send out love instead of just receiving fear, that the love we send out has two aspects. Yes, there's an external consequence of love. It influences everyone and everything around me. There's a profoundly different chemistry if I have a thought of love coming into my body, which you can feel. When you're in love, you can feel it. Yes, your cells are bathing in chemistry of love. But when you have fear, it's a different chemical response. It gets you girded up for response, protection, walling you off from the outside. I don't want that thing to come in and take care of, my inside. And I say, well, what's the relevance? And the answer is very simple. The chemistry released by the brain in fear shuts down the growth mechanism of the body, shuts down the maintenance of the body to conserve energy. And the biggest thing is there's only one consequence, and that is disease and illness. And it turns out 1% of disease on this planet is connected to genetics, and 90% of disease or more is lifestyle and the psychology of love and fear. 90%. And it says, be in love, and your body will be maintained, and your immune system will be at peak performance. Be in fear, and the game is over.
Increasing rate of asthma in North America these days, and allergies of all kinds, or the increasing rate of ADHD and depression and all that amongst kids. What's going on? What's going on is that the parents are getting more stressed, and therefore the kids are getting more stressed, and therefore the kids are getting more sick. And it's not a question of the parents not loving their kids, it's not a question of blaming parents, it's not a question of parents. So human relationships are actually necessary to maintain healthy human life. The first few years are so important. And if you as an adult are suffering from depression, anxiety, addiction, illness, or whatever, go back to your childhood and find out how you were hurt and heal that hurt, and then you can heal yourself. Thank you.
在你凝山谷中，你领我走出来，我跌跌又撞撞，是你扶我站起来，我满身是伤痕，你将我抱起来，我在你的怀中苏醒过来。耶稣的爱医治了我的心，破碎的生命完整起来，心中有燃起光明的期待，再一次勇敢将自己敞开。星星的翅膀再飞起来，飞越每一个高山和低谷，感谢耶稣医治的爱。你领我走出来，我跌跌又撞撞，是你扶我站起来， 身是伤痕，你将我抱起来，我在你的怀中苏醒过来。耶稣的爱医治了我的心，破碎的生命完整起来。心中又燃起光明的期待，再一次勇敢将自己敞开。耶稣的爱刚强了我的心，星星的翅膀再飞起来。
We have surely arrived at the golden age of technology to become the dominant species on planet Earth. Why is it then that at this moment in time our species has never been sicker?
What happened is that we are practicing medicine that's a century out of date, basically. While things have moved forward in Silicon Valley and things have moved forward with iPhones, and look at what you can do today that you couldn't do even 10 or 15 years ago. Medicine is still being practiced an old-fashioned way where we look for a specific diagnosis.
And that 95% of all illness is either caused by or worsened by stress.
In today's world, these stresses are 24/7, 365. The net result is illness and disease.
It's your spouse, or it's your boss, or it's rent that's due in a week. And yet the system reacts as though it's a life-threatening situation.
And if you're running a fight or flight response all the time, your immune system is compromised chronically.
What we see here is belief itself shifts biology.
That intelligence giving us life. It is the greatest healer in the world.
These symptoms are brilliantly intelligent in waking us up.
抬头，幸福不见了，找失去的拥抱，温柔的眼眸，想多看一秒，拭干眼泪，看清楚。
Fix your brain, you're going to have to accept a radically new way of thinking about health, one that most doctors today still struggle to understand. It's the idea that everything is connected. This means everything we do, everything we eat and think, how we sleep and live can actually change our brain at any given moment. Your entire body, including all of the core systems within it, interact as a single, sophisticated symphony. You are one whole person, and all the pieces of your biology and your unique genetic code interact with your environment to determine how sick or well you are in this moment. What you do to one has enormous impact on the other. What you do to your body, you do to your brain. That means it is possible to heal your body and thereby heal your brain. We know that your thoughts, beliefs, your attitudes, traumas, life experiences directly influence your biology. We know that stress and other psychological factors can have a major impact on your health.
12歲咯，12歲。食過啲咩嚟肚痛先？唔知啊，嗰晚係食 buffet 啊。buffet 食 buffet 可能食得好喎。係啊，可能係食唔知生嘅嘢啦。咁我哋點樣痛法啊？食唔翻去係。直情一起身就話我唔翻學啦，因為我好痛個肚。係有冇屙？我話你屙唔屙？佢話冇屙喎，又唔屙喎。咁
就同佢做個肚啦，撳住呢度，跟住撳呢度啦。咁好奇妙一樣嘢咧，就係我撳住佢個肚咧，佢個肚會彈下喎。
係嗰個亞視嘅釋放。
但係佢係我跳動得好緊要咯，個肚跳
嗰個蜜浪圖啊。
蜜浪圖啊，真係向後躍咯。咁啊彈下，我話你感唔感到個肚彈一彈啊？佢好似又係，好似又係喎。
佢都感覺到彈。係啊。
咁啊做咗2次咁就。佢哋
對媽媽嘅信任啦。冇事。做咗幾耐啊？
做咗我有5至10分鐘到啦。做咗2次啦。咁就。
隔開幾耐啊？做完1次。
隔2-3個鐘再做1次。
但係做完1次佢冇咁痛㗎啦。
係啊，已經好咗㗎啦。但係再做第2次就好似好翻好多。
跟住夜晚都要食飯啊？
係啊，仲食西多士添啊！我話你怕唔怕？佢話照食，都冇數目我咯。
跟住就正常翻學啦。正常翻學嘅，正常翻學。其實下晝已經冇事㗎啦。係啊。唔好話醫咩大病啦，起碼慳翻次食保濟丸都好啊。始終藥都係有毒㗎嘛，啲藥物其實有啲重金屬嘅，有啲水銀啊，有啲鋁嘅咁啊，咁你食少啲都係好啲啦。咁啊，真係學咗啲嘢真係有用喎。係咯，真係有啲。係啊，咁其實住呢有啲問題。咁我又發現咧，點解我呢度又彈得唔緊要？係蜜浪圖咯。係啊，即係有反應。係啊。咁因為你有個腦下垂體嘅禮物啊嘛。哦。咁就會彈多啲。係啊，你已經唔當佢係一個惡魔疾病嘅處理啦嘛。係。咁啊，瞓覺嘅時候就瞓得唔好嘅。咁我話俾個機會我試一試啦，我又冇嘢講，咁樣去試，咁做咗10分鐘到啦，10至15分鐘啦。結果一陣間瞓着咗，瞓到第朝9點鐘。佢話從來未試過，好耐未試過瞓得咁晚，但要做檢查。係啊，第1次，我覺得係學下咁樣做。
This may pick up tension, restrictions or distortions in the client's system, all of which may be indicative of ill health. These restrictions are gently released, allowing the body to find its way back to wholeness, fluidity and balance.
Just get a sense of softening up back there.
What I feel from the practitioners with craniosacral treatment is a great sense of empathy with my body. I feel myself release tension and then melt into the hands of my own practitioner.
People receiving craniosacral therapy have reported improvements in emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual well-being.
Afterwards, I just feel totally energized, and it's wonderful. I found it quite magical, really. I love it.
I can feel all of me again, instead of just separate parts.
Here's how to try craniosacral therapy for yourself.
We are at the forefront of the evolution of neurology, like what is possible with healing in the brain. I am so excited for that. Everybody should be doing these things because we don't want to wait until someone develops Alzheimer's or dementia, because that's kind of like the end game, right? We want to make sure we catch those things earlier on. But the exciting thing is, even if it is end game, there's things we can do to reverse that. But the brain is unique. Not only does it respond and require nutrition to thrive, but it also needs exercise and activation.
Treat depression and autism and Alzheimer's or any disease that affects mood, behavior, or the brain, we must learn how to get rid of the causes of inflammation, such as leaky gut, and also to restore the normal immune balances through the food we eat, through nutrients, exercise, sleep, and stress management. You can impact your brain through your diet and heal your body. In fact, your body and your mind are not two separate systems. They're one elegant, continuous ecosystem. What you do to the body affects the brain, and what you do to the brain affects the body.
Hello， 大家好，今日尋找品牌的故事嚟到觀塘，尋找施博士顱脊工房喎。聽個名好似同脊骨有關喎，咁我成日腰酸背痛咪啱晒咯。嚇，冇咁簡單。咁到底佢做啲咩嘅咧？不如大家跟我一齊嚟啊！
萬里豔陽斜照，心興奮怎麼遮掩？回味昨日無數天真的可愛笑臉，沒有了困倦煩惱，拋走了世俗負累，來共醉於此刻歌聲裏，抱着溫馨美妙，多動人尋夢調，傾出光輝歲月，翻起了生命力。
我哋到啦！咦，阿哥？睇嚟真係唔簡單。施博士
，Hello Katrina。
你哋喺度做咩啊？
我哋啱啱介紹緊客人認識頭顱骨對健康嘅重要性。
咁即係點啊？
就咁講就好難講㗎。如果阿 Benny 唔介意嘅，就做我哋 model， 等我哋介紹一下呢個顱脊治療俾大家認識一下。好啊。
好啊。施博士做緊㗎啦。
係啊，我哋嘅顱脊治療嘅特色咧，其中一個咧就係輕觸式同埋無痛啦。其實咧，我哋咁樣咧做緊咧，就等於以手代針咯。
吓？乜手都可以代針嘅咩？
係啊，我哋就喺啲經絡上邊咧，去幫佢處理嗰個能量上邊嘅調動啦。所以維基解碼咧，都將顱脊治療咧譯做咧氣功。咁但係我哋其實咧就唔係咧如來神掌嗰啲咧法器。我哋咧係將嗰個能量管道咧去做調息。
咁病人需要做啲咩配合咁樣㗎？
我哋一般咧都會忠告病人咧喺治療前咧就放鬆自己啦。咁喺治療當中咧，盡量咧就係想笑就笑，想喊就喊，想鬧就鬧，想喐就喐，想瞓就瞓。因為咁樣咧都係我哋咧身心治療裏邊咧其中一啲嘅情緒上面釋放咧重要嘅療效嚟嘅。
咁除咗做腳之外，仲有邊啲部分係要做嘅呢？
其實咧，我哋全身嘅經絡都做得啦。咁腳其實咧都係一個重要嘅所謂全息嘅反射區啦。咁所以好多人都會做腳底按摩啦。咁但係另外一個重要嘅位置咧，除咗脊骨咧，就係個盤骨。咁我哋陣間咧都會示範一下咧喺個盤骨上邊咧點樣去調息佢呢一個嘅能量嘅管道啦。咁另外頸椎都係一個重要嘅位置，而最重要嘅重點咧就係我哋嘅頭骨咯。咁所以我哋有大部分嘅手法咧都會喺頭骨上邊咧做處理嘅。
咦？呢個手法可以治療到啲咩嘅問題？
呢一個咧就係我哋俗稱嘅丹田嘅位置咧。男士嚟講就可能腎啊、膀胱啊或者前列腺啦。咁甚至個腰骨啊、坐骨神經啊咁樣啦。咁女士嚟講咧，就係所有嗰啲嘅婦科嘅問題啦。我哋臨床上面有一啲有子宮肌瘤嘅病人咧，透過咁樣嘅治療咧，都可以令到個肌瘤咧一路收細，收到去冇都有嘅。咁呢啲都係臨床上面一啲嘅療效嘅一啲嘅例證啦。
其實都好似好舒服咁喎，你又唔使喐佢，又唔使喐佢，又好似唔痛咁喎。
係啊，呢個咧就係一個好鬆弛嘅狀態啦。我哋而家做緊呢個位置咧，就係頸椎啦，同埋個鎖骨。 咁都係一個重要咧嘅一個情緒中心嘅釋放嚟嘅。咁而家佢個反應咧都係一個咧我哋臨床上邊咧好想去達到嘅一個治療嘅效果啦，我哋叫做醉夢。咁佢個人咧其實咧就係半夢半醒啦，但係個人咧係清晰嘅、清楚嘅個意識。不過人咧就去到一個好鬆弛嘅狀態，咁有時咧就會不自覺咧有好多唔同咧嘅反應啦。間唔中咧頭先譬如阿 Benny 咁樣咧個頭咧會有少少擰一擰啦，間唔中有啲手指啊腳啊有時都會有啲跳動嘅，咁嗰啲都係一啲好好嘅釋放反應嚟嘅。
咁一般嘅療程係做幾耐㗎？
多數平均咧我哋會係45分鐘至到1小時啦。咁如果做一個整全嘅療程，我哋就先由腳做起啦。跟住可能做咗盤骨啦，做個頸椎啦。咁而家呢個位置其實都係我哋講咧叫做一個頭顱骨同埋脊骨最重要嘅一個位置咧。咁我哋做緊呢一個牽引咧，其實咧就可以幫我哋減低咧身體嘅壓力，無論係身心嘅壓力咧，透過個脊椎神經嘅鬆緩咧，都可以幫我哋咧處理到嘅。
咁通常嚟幫襯你嘅都係咩年齡嘅朋友仔呢？
就個年齡層都好闊嘅，最細嘅應該係細過0歲，即係咧其實喺媽媽個肚裏邊咧都可以接受我哋啲治療嘅。咁最大嘅年紀咧，我哋去到90幾歲。咁所以咧，我哋嘅治療咧，其實0至100歲，其實唔同嘅生物都可以接受我哋嘅治療嘅。我哋有啲病人咧，就曾經幫過佢哋自己養過嘅動物啦，狗仔啊、貓仔啊、倉鼠啊。我哋試過最特別嘅咧，有啲病人就幫佢養緊嗰隻龜、金魚，咁都曾經接受呢啲治療咧，而產生一啲即係健康嘅作用同埋療效咯。
頭先你話咧頭就係重點啦，咁你而家做緊呢一個咧又係咩手法嚟嘅咧？
係啊，因為頭骨裝住嘅就係我哋嘅大腦啦。其實我哋100%我哋身心靈嘅功能咧都係個大腦。咁如果我哋將個治療咧，除咗話以手代針做針灸，其實我哋就係做緊心同埋腦嘅一個按摩咯。其實而家我係幫緊佢嘅大腦去按摩咯。呢個手法其實就可以促進咧佢個腦脊液嘅流動啦，咁一啲淋巴嘅阻塞啦。咁我哋叫呢個手法咧就做顱關通啦。咁都係好舒服、好舒暢嘅一個手法嚟嘅。
大腦都有得按摩，即係第一次聽啫喎。咦？呢個手法咧好似撳住個太陽穴咁喎。咁平時咧，我哋成日有嗰啲偏頭痛啊、頭痛嗰啲咧，係咪好有效㗎？
係啊，我而家做緊呢個手法咧，都係我哋頭顱骨顱脊治療嘅一個重點手法啦。我哋叫佢做顱蝶鬆。蝶其實咧就係我哋頭骨裏邊最重要嘅嗰塊顱蝶骨。咁你見到咧，其實就算 Benny 咧，而家咧只係我哋幾分鐘嘅治療咧，佢都係好鬆弛嘅。咁甚至你見到佢有少少口部嘅動作啦，膊頭又會縮啦，手指又會喐啦，呢啲都係佢模糊意識嘅咧一啲嘅釋放嘅動作。咁所以呢一個治療咧，尤其是呢個手法，對於我哋壓力啦，因為都市人咧而家好多嘅身心壓力不適症候群啊。其實世衛咧都講咧，心病咧將會成為咧我哋咧第1號殺手啊！咁所以咧情緒上面嘅處理啊、壓力嘅處理啊都係好重要嘅。
咦？呢個動作好似掹緊耳仔咁，會掹下耳仔咧，異性好啲嘅咧？
嗱，你真係講得啱啊！呢一個手法咧，我哋叫做顱列牽。其實拉耳仔咧，原來咧就可以幫我哋咧促進我哋嘅記性啦，將我哋一啲睡夢上面嘅失調咧，譬如好多人啊會發惡夢啊，甚至夢遊啊，甚至即係完全記唔到自己有發夢啊，好多夢啊。咁原來咧呢一個手法咧都係好好臨床上邊咧嘅一個幫助嚟嘅。
啊，呢個我知，呢個我上網睇過你啲片，呢個係顱四壓 CV4。
好嘢喎，係啊，呢個咧就係我哋 CST 啊 Cranial Sacral Therapy 嘅創辦人 Upperger 咧佢嘅重點手法。呢個手法嘅作用咧可以淨化我哋嘅腦脊液，即係話做完咧有美白嘅效果。呢個就係徒手嘅美白手法，做完咧10分鐘到咧，好似敷完咧好名貴、好有療效嘅面膜一樣。呢一個咧亦係咧按壓住咧我哋第4個腦室啊，咁原來咧可以促進咧我哋睡眠嘅質素。咁或者不如我哋咧都示範埋咧最後一個 round up 嘅手法啦。其實我哋叫呢個咧做任督搖滑。咁呢個作用其實最簡單嘅，其實咧就係打通佢嘅任督咯，就等於《黃帝內經》咁樣講啦，通則不痛，不痛則通。任督就係最重要我哋身體上邊咧嘅經絡嘅能量嘅管道。人尋夢調，傾
出光輝歲月，翻起了生命浪潮，然後熱刺鬥志，彷彿勁草於急風，盡興於風中蹦蹦跳。願你我珍惜一分一秒，問哪裏永沒爭鬥，問哪裏永沒污染，願看見美麗天空星光閃。誰沒最百事囉嗦，愁着臉説話多多，寧願每一天開開心心過，無謂怕講一聲 I love you。萬里豔陽斜照，心興奮怎麼遮掩？回味撞人無數天真的可愛少年。
相信頭先咧，施博士為大家示範嘅手法咧，大家都好少見嘅。咁其實我自己都好少見嘅。咁我想問下施博士，你創立呢一個盧脊工房其實係有啲咩淵源嘅咧？
要講淵源呢，就有幾個重點啦。第一個重點其實先父咧都係因為呢一個急性腦膜炎。咁喺我考 A level 之前幾個月，佢就晏晝就昏迷，夜晚咧就已經即係返咗天啦。咁所以醫生咧就甚至話佢咧，因為喺醫院留醫唔夠24小時就去世，咁仲要解剖。咁但係最後俾我嘅答案咧都係原因不明啦。因為我對西醫咧有啲情意結嘅，但係對於我嚟講咧，傳統嘅醫療咧，因為我自己個人嘅經歷啦，我先父嘅經歷啦，佢唔單止救唔到命啦，又醫唔到病啦，甚至令到我爸爸咧都係死無全屍嘅。咁所以我喺理大一畢業嘅時間咧，我就自己去再讀中醫啦。其實都想尋求一啲健康嘅資訊啦。咁其中一個最大嘅方向都係解釋俾我自己聽，點解爸爸53歲先前又冇乜大嘅病，咁快咧就離開咗我。咁另一個淵源咧，其實就係到2003年啦。咁喺沙士嘅期間，其實嗰陣時我已經係私人執業緊物理治療嘅工作。咁但係原來咧，我因為咧幫一個咧患咗沙士嘅病人，不過我哋又唔知道，就幫佢拍痰同埋聞氣。咁然後咧，我哋同我個姑娘咧都被感染。咁但係我哋唔知道。咁但係我自己咧就返咗屋企咧，其實我有3日3夜咧，基本上係起唔到身，個身體又好痛啦，又反覆地發燒啦、出汗啦，食嘢又冇胃口啦，自己屋企做任何嘅方法咧都冇辦法處理。不過咁樣俾我捱過咗3日，就好似新加坡咧用呢一啲方法咧處理沙士，隔離咗啦，只係飲水啦，同埋咧就係休息啦。咁原來咧我哋嘅身體咧有一個咁樣嘅先天咧嘅治癒嘅能力。咁其實就係因為我沙士康復咗之後，喺一個物理治療嘅一個 bulletin 嘅月刊背後嘅一個廣告，就講呢一個咧叫做 cranial sacral therapy 咯。咁嗰陣時我對呢個字咧都係唔係好理解嘅，不過我淨係睇到佢一句説話，佢講佢可以 enhance 嗰個 self healing。即係話咧，原來可以促進咧我哋自身嘅治癒力。咁啱我又喺沙士咁樣康復咗過嚟，咁所以對佢嗰個治療咧就好有興趣啦。咁就即刻報讀咗咧喺黃竹坑醫學院嘅一啲嘅課程。咁點知一接觸咗咧就即係入迷啦。咁我就即係好中意咗呢一個治療嘅手法啦。咁一路去自己去進修啦，去研究啦。
咁其實咧，其他嘅醫療人員咧，佢哋都有用到呢一個技術，但係都只係輔助形式。點解你會咁專注喺呢一個盧脊治療上面呢？
嗰陣時我已經係私人執業，做緊我自己物理治療嘅工作，我係當送俾啲病人嘅。不過喺我哋做咗一段時間之後咧，偶爾有啲病人咧就咁樣走嚟同我哋講喎，嗱，我今日咧就趕時間。其他嗰啲咧超聲波啊、咩拉頸啊、短波啊，所有你都唔好幫我做啦，我淨係做咧你平時咧做完咧，淨係幫我捧住個頭。你話唔知咩叫盧脊定乜嘢，我唔知你個名啦。咁你總之咧就幫我做10分鐘嗰個做頭。嗱，錢我係照俾，我俾足你㗎。不過我覺得最有感覺咧就係嗰個咁樣嘅手法。咁啲病人佢自己真金白銀俾錢㗎嘛，咁當佢咁樣講嘅時間，我就會覺得呢啲療效咧，原來唔係淨係書面講嘅一啲咁樣嘅理論，咁原來真係實際咧有一個療效。咁結果我後來就摒棄晒所有其他嗰啲嘢，我就專注咧，淨係做我自己講緊嘅呢一個盧脊治療咯。
頭先見到咧，你同病人做嘅手法咧，又唔使喐，又唔使用力，咁病人又唔使食藥喎。其實呢個盧脊治療係點樣有嗰個療效嘅咧？
其實咧最重要嘅咧，原來我哋係促進咧我哋自身嘅免疫力、自身嘅治癒力。 其實咧呢度有本書咧都值得介紹俾大家嘅，咁呢本書咧叫做《治愈力》，咁英文嘅原著咧佢其實就係叫做 Spontaneous Healing。咁作者其實咧原來係全世界最具影響力嘅25個嘅即係首位之一。咁入邊其實咧就係講佢咧巡迴咗大半個地球，佢喺哈佛醫學院退休嘅時間咧，周圍去做一啲專訪，了解唔同嘅醫療咧嘅手段嘅結果。佢嘅總結咧就係所有醫療嘅從業員、所有嘅儀器、所有嘅藥物，嗰個都只係一個工具。真正能夠令到我哋好返嘅呢，原來我哋就係有一個咁樣嘅先天免疫治愈力嘅機制。我哋用住一啲統計上面嘅資料去評估病人嗰個嘅存活率啦，或者治愈率啦。咁嗰個係啱嘅，因為我哋用住嗰個統計學嘅結果。但係我哋生命上面其實充滿咗好多嘅未知之數，充滿咗好多嘅奇蹟，甚至我哋呢，好似我哋出邊嗰塊鏡片嘅一個牌匾嘅一句説話啦，曉得感恩，我哋就能夠咧有奇蹟，奇蹟就再生。而我哋嘅重點咧就唔係淨係幫緊身體嘅問題，係一個身心結合嘅療法。
好啦，咁施博士，咁其實你一個病人平均1個鐘頭一個啦，其實你一日都做唔到好多個病人嘅啫喎，你會唔會有其他渠道係可以繼續去幫更加多嘅人呢？
係啊，所以我哋都效法咧，我哋即係勞脊治療嗰個 founder 咧，就教導一啲咧可能冇任何醫療背景嘅人，咁都可以學習呢一啲頭先我哋講解嘅手法啦。咁所以我哋咧都有搞好多唔同嘅課程啦。咁有一啲係簡單嘅工作坊啦，有一啲係一啲基本嘅實習嘅班啦，家居可以應用嘅啦，甚至我哋會為專業人士提供一啲臨床，可以喺佢嘅工作上面作為一個輔導嘅一個技術啦。咧我哋又整咗一啲嘅網上嘅一本書，咁我哋有繁體字，仲有簡體字。我哋希望喺年尾咧可以咧將呢一本書咧就出版啦。咁所以我哋咧都有2句總結嘅，我哋就係觀念改變健康。我哋徒手可以助人自助。
好啊，施博士，咁首先祝你哋嘅書籍大賣啦，亦都好多謝接受我哋尋找品牌的故事嘅訪問，講咗咁多關於你嘅故事啦，同埋勞疾治療嘅資訊俾我哋。見你講到咁正，我都好想試下喎。
好啊！
治療咗6、7次，嗰個心跳亂嗰個問題解決咗。我女係瑞士做嘢，即係我個女喺網站嗰度睇到你哋嘅廣告啊，佢知自己咧都學過嗰個。讓愛心力漫着光輝照。
Morphogenetic fields. Unlike electromagnetic energy interacting with biology through principles made clear in the well-researched field of organic chemistry, subtle energy and its many puzzling features make empirical categorizations a more complex study. Timeless descriptions of a universal life force informing the mind and body permeate the healing doctrines of all human civilizations, except for contemporary medicine, a philosophy blinded by its successes and the appeal of scientific materialism. Countless healing modalities that have been scoffed at by modern healthcare now have a scientifically valid foundation in physics to explain the presence of subtle energy moving within the body and how the mind creates health. What is a morphogenetic field? Morphogenetic fields are invisible forces that guide developing embryos into the magnificent, complex organisms that comprise the plant, animal, and mushroom kingdoms. The concept of a morphogenetic field was made popular by cell biologist Rupert Sheldrake in his 1981 book, A New Science of Life. But it was actually first introduced in 1910 by Alexander Gurwitch while studying embryonic development. Understanding how and why organisms take shape the way they do is fundamental to understanding life, the universe, and everything. This process of morphogenesis is still a huge mystery in developmental biology. Coming from the Greek words morphine, meaning form, and genesis, meaning coming into being, morphogenesis is the biological process of how a developing organism takes shape. Morphogenetic fields are hypothesized as the invisible pattern-forming agents which guide the biological process of development from embryonic globs of potential into fully structured complex organisms. It has become common to believe DNA and the genetic information stored in chromosomes are entirely responsible for the way an organism looks and operates, right? Well, not entirely. Genes are only responsible to code for protein synthesis. They are the building materials from which life develops. But morphogenetic fields are like the intelligence of the architect. They analyze the blueprints and explain what building materials go where. For example, our arms have the exact same DNA in them as our legs, so we need a proper explanation for why they look so different and how the body knows to form them in such distinct fashions. Humans, like all mammals, employ Hox genes, abnormally well-structured genetic instructions that determine a body's anterior-posterior shape and where body parts grow during embryonic development. The morphogenetic field of intelligence is what informs the body about how and when to use these genes. It is a single-celled organism that can grow up to 10 centimeters in length, which is huge for a single cell. But what's even more incredible is they can regenerate an entirely new acetabularia from a cutting of the stalk, recreating the entire form without any of the genetic information contained in the nucleus. A triumphant hint that genes do not control the process of morphogenesis. The chakras, the vital applications running the circuitry of our physical bodies, are like the magnets that produce and move these fields of morphogenetic energy throughout your being and organize the development and maintenance of your physical health and well-being.
I could not lift my foot off the floor, but maybe an inch. I had shooting pain from both my right and left sciatic nerves down to my feet, and that was day and night. So it changed my life drastically, and my voice was beginning to feel like it wasn't coming out. I had just gone to the second neurologist. The first one had no clue. It may have been too early. The second one said PLS, ALS. They do not know where it comes from, and there's no cure. There is no Western medicine cure.
When I first met Sarah, one of the things that I don't listen to is what people tell me they have. So I don't acknowledge somebody's label, because to me, that's just their story. And so when Sarah came, yes, she was in a walker and had all these things, and yes, I could see where she was energetically, and I could tell that she was at a crossroads.
To accept that my body was going to keep deteriorating and they could keep it at bay for a while. That was it. So I said to myself, no way, that's not my story.
When somebody sits down in front of me, or if I'm on the phone with somebody or whatever, there's like a quick scan of your body. I see the areas of density, I see the areas of disease, I see where we're going, and then the rest of it is completely out of my control. I have no thought about putting my hand on your neck or your lower back or wherever it is. None of that comes into my head. My body goes into this automatic, goes wherever it's supposed to go. And then I see everything changing in your body. I'm not doing it. I'm watching another energy force do it. And it's not that I'm this religious guy, because I don't know what that means. I just know that I'm connected to the divine and there's no other place to be. Left leg around. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. All the way up by yourself. Okay. We're going to think about 27 karat aquamarine that somebody's going to give you. And looking good, it's going to look like around your neck. So if you decide right now that you are healthy and the rest of the stuff isn't part of your past anymore, then it will change everything.
Yeah.
See if you can bring them up in here.
Yeah. I can. Yeah, I couldn't lift it like that much when I first that's it. I was like, wait a minute, of course I do that. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't done that for so long. It feels like I can just walk. Alright.
Don't think about it. Go for that aquamarine.
無數雀鳥唱月已曲調，體溫輕着遠方深海，掀起了浪潮。明白恬靜處讓我感恩，靜待破曉。當幸我仍可歌頌呼叫，慶幸仍舊有生。做乜玄妙？用個口述說有種真摯的感謝，全宗主的恩惠一生不缺少。當慶幸我亦感到脈搏與心跳，全部世上原非僥倖，因情未可忘掉。在這天，讓你仍可窺見碧海藍天，唯願你凝望多一面。多慶幸我仍感到脈搏與心跳，全部世上原非僥倖，因情未可忘掉。在這天，讓你仍可。
Osteopathic medicine emphasizes a philosophy of treating patients in a holistic manner. In the United States, doctors of osteopathic medicine, or DOs, are fully licensed physicians who practice in all areas of medicine, who are trained to meet patients where they are, and understand all of the things in their life that contribute to their health. DO medical school programs incorporate this approach while also developing the competencies in which all physicians are trained in the US. Sometimes medicine can focus on treating an illness. Many patients might be given a diagnosis, which is a type of label, so that they can be sent to the appropriate specialty office to get care. A person with recurrent skin abscesses might get sent to infectious diseases. Stomach pain goes to gastroenterology, headaches go to neurology, and so on. At first glance, this seems like a convenient way to manage patients, but oftentimes the system falls apart. For example, the person with stomach pain might also be dealing with severe anxiety, something that a gastroenterologist might not be thinking about or feel comfortable managing. In theory, every medical professional should be able to think outside of their specialty box. But in practice, the medical culture of applying labels and then operating within those labels sometimes heavily influences how clinicians solve problems. This approach also misses important opportunities, because the absence of disease isn't the same as maximizing a person's wellness. For example, a person might not have hypertension or diabetes, but they'd still benefit from a better diet and stress reduction habits, both of which are strongly tied to well-being and happiness for years to come. Philosophically, osteopathic physicians are trained to see their role as optimizing individual health, and not just eliminating disease. Now, the 4 key tenets of osteopathic medicine are that a person's made up of a mind, a body, and a spirit, that the human body is capable of self-regulation, self-healing, and health maintenance, that the physical structure and function of the body are interrelated, and that rational treatment and care should be based on these foundational concepts. One component of osteopathic medicine that all DOs learn and many DOs utilize in practice is osteopathic manipulative treatment, sometimes called OMT, which is when a DO uses hands-on techniques to diagnose, treat, and prevent injury and illness by moving a person's muscles and joints using techniques with different types of pressure and resistance. These movements can help people of all ages and backgrounds with back, neck, and other muscle pain, as well as with other problems like carpal tunnel syndrome, migraines, and even asthma. In a lot of cases, osteopathic manipulative treatment can be used to complement or sometimes even replace medications or surgery. DOs work in the full range of specialties, everything from family medicine to oncology to orthopedic surgery and child psychiatry. DOs are trained with a strong hands-on, patient-centered primary care focus, which gives them useful skills and a unique perspective, regardless of whatever specialty they go into.
我要赞美主生命，我要歌颂主生命，你宝血洗净我内心的无畏。我要荣耀主生命，我要高举主生命，你的爱拥抱我，不再被罪恶捆绑。主你恩深触摸我，去走内心的伤痛，在你里面我重新得力，有满足的喜乐。主你荣光照亮我，生命不再有愁烦，在你里面我的生有余，因你的爱我不再一样。主生命，你的爱拥抱我，不再被罪恶捆绑。主你恩深触摸我，去走内心的伤痛，在你里面我重新得力，有满足的喜乐。主
IPC Bio。
喺我哋生活嘅每一個領域，無論係人與人、物與物，甚至係細胞與細胞之間，都存在住規律。好多專家一直細化及探索每一個規律嘅組成同變化，用以改善我哋嘅生活。而質子能量技術正係現存最深入嘅突破，佢將帶領我哋進入全新嘅生命領域。規律無處不在，由浩瀚嘅宇宙到我哋身處嘅銀河星塵，到地球，都係由不同嘅物質組成，而物質亦由唔同嘅微粒排列而成。我哋嘅人體亦都係一樣，喺呢個微粒系統裏邊，我哋探索到有更多更細化嘅規律存在，由細胞到每一個分子，分子之內有好多原子，原子就包含咗質子、電子及中子，而其中質子嘅不規則運動就會對整個分子狀態產生影響。只要能夠改善質子運動狀態，就能夠改善佔我哋人體最大比例嘅水分子嘅功能。透過我哋革新嘅質子能量技術，就能夠改善及將質子振動有序化，從而改善水分子嘅物理狀態。規律嘅重整令質子運動更有序，有效優化身體內每一個分子，可以令我哋身體質素得到更有效嘅提升。
我哋嘅目標係希望將呢種比納米科技更先進、更精細嘅質子能量技術普及應用喺健康護理嘅層面上。透過重新排列體內質子嘅震動，已經證實有效緩解疼痛同埋加快治癒進程。結合微電治療技術同中醫經絡學原理，我相信我哋將會進入一個全新嘅健康領域。
質子能量技術嘅轉化及應用層面非常廣泛，可以結合唔同嘅儀器，達到唔同嘅效果。I1 Plus 係現今最暢銷嘅手提式保健產品 ，I1 嘅升級版，利用特定嘅紅光為載體，以非接觸方式將質子振動有序場導入身體，增強真皮層同皮下組織嘅微循環，促進新陳代謝及增強免疫力，並且能有效舒緩痛楚，加快傷口愈合，促進皮膚對外敷藥品嘅吸收。
It's not just that disease starts in the mind, it's that everything starts in the mind.
In today's world, these stresses are 24/7, 365. The net result is illness and disease.
90% of what takes people to the doctor is stress-related illnesses.
When you perceive a threat, in the old days we referred to that as fight or flight.
But now it's your spouse, or it's your boss, or it's rent that's due in a week. And yet the system reacts as though it's a life-threatening situation.
And if you're running a fight or flight response all the time, your immune system is compromised chronically.
We have the most money going into healthcare than any country in the world, and we have some of the worst statistics of healthcare.
My body wants to be healthy, but it's the head it's the fear. I don't know who I am without being sick.
In a way, we have more faith in the power of cancer to kill us than we have faith in the power of infinite possibility.
Every organ in the human body has the ability to heal itself under the right conditions. What are those conditions? That's the question.
We are in a mindset that our body is a machine full of organs with buttons and levers that need adjusting.
Psoriasis and eczema, cause unknown. Multiple sclerosis, cause unknown. Fibromyalgia, cause unknown.
There are examples of people out there who have healed from it. When I looked at the data, they were all using these 9. Only 2 of them are physical. The rest are mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Does this mean medicine is all negative? And I go, absolutely not. Medicine does miracles with trauma.
What we see here is belief itself shifts biology. That intelligence giving us life. It is the greatest healer in the world.
These symptoms are brilliantly intelligent in waking us up.
Doesn't matter how long you've been sick, you can heal, and always remember that and never forget it.